Dobrý deň prajem všetkým. Vítajte na dnešnom webinári, ktorý bude predovšetkým venovaný postprodukcii, efektivite, práci v postprodukcii, cloudovým službám, aké produkty poskytuje firma Traco a firma Avid v oblasti zvukovej postprodukcie, v oblasti video postprodukcie. Povenujeme sa troška aj cloudovým riešeniam a nejakému novému portfóliu v oblasti Nexis zdieľaných polí. Celým webinárom vám bude sprevádzať ja. Program, ktorý máme na tento webinár, je nasledujúci. Začne Roman Weber, ktorý sedí v Mníchove. Je to audio špecialista firmy Avid. Predstaví nám novú modelovú radu Avid Pro Tools. Určite ste zachytili informáciu o tzv. Flexible licencingu, to znamená novom licenčnom modeli. Je to kvázi subscription. Tento nový licenčný model sa delí na niekoľko balíkov, takže Roman nám vysvetlí, čo ktorý balík toho flexible licenčného modelu obsahuje. Následne bude prezentovať pán Dirk Weinreich z Berlína, ktorý je špecialista na video postprodukciu, a on nám prejde ďalšie 3 témy: ostatnú verziu Media Composeru, SRT streaming v Media Composeri. Potom sa povedujeme strihu v cloudovom prostredí, Avid Edit On Demand, ako sa jednoducho dá vytvoriť produkčné prostredie v prostredí cloudu bez akéhokoľvek potreby hardveru. A predstavíme si novú nadstavbu pre Nexis. Je to Nexis Edge, ktorý dovoluje vzdialené pripojenie k on-premise Nexisu. Čiže toto sú témy na dnes. Dĺžka tohto webináru by mala byť okolo hodiny. Tie témy sú pomerne obsiahle, takže pokúsime sa nejako briskne cez to všetko prejsť. Po každej jednej téme bude možnosť položiť otázky. Dole v Zoome máte takúto možnosť answer and questions. Kľudne do toho kladte otázky. Ja vám sa pokúsim v priebehu odpovedať. Otázky môžete klásť aj priamo v angličtine, prípadne v nemčine odpovedia vám páni, alebo v slovenčine, češtine odpoviem vám ja. V prípade, že chcete vstúpiť do toho webináru nejakou otázkou cez mikrofón, tak je tam taká pacička, ktorú len treba zatlačiť, tým sa len prihlásite, uvidím, že kto sa prihlásil a dám mu možnosť sa opýtať. Avšak na otázky a odpovede bude vyhradený samostatný slot úplne na konci toho programu. Čiže ale môžete klásť aj v priebehu otázky, ja ich nejako kolektujem a po každej téme sa pokúsime odpovedať. To je z mojej strany všetko. Som rád, že tento webinár robíme a dávam slovo Romanovi Weberovi. Roman, you can share your screen and start presentation.
Right. So, give me a second to share my screen. Okay, hope everybody can see this. Right, so thanks for the introduction, Miro. I'm Roman Weber, one of these audio solution specialists here in EMEA, working in Munich. I'm actually speaking to you from Munich. And I'd like to give you a quick overview what we did with our first major release in 2022, Pro Tools 2020.4, which was basically not that much feature-packed release, but the most significant thing is, as Miro already mentioned, we made a complete new lineup of our Pro Tools software, a new offering system, and also changed something with the features in between these Pro Tools offerings. So basically, there are still 3 Pro Tools versions, and they're doing the similar stuff like the Pro Tools version before. There's Pro Tools Flex subscription, which is ultimate. There was a bit of confusion about this, or it's easily to get confused. I will talk a bit later about this later. Pro Tools Studio, which is the new version of Pro Tools, so the standard version, and Pro Tools Artist, which is a beginner version, which you can see is maybe the successor to Pro Tools First, but it's not a free offering anymore, but it's a very compelling solutions or strapped down Pro Tools for beginners with a very low price point, which has a strapped feature set, but still allows you to do any kind of music, make beats, write songs, record, and yeah, a good quite offer to start with Pro Tools. So before I get too much details here in this overview, I will go to the next slide and tell about each offering itself a bit more in detail. So as I said, Pro Tools Flex is a subscription bundle of Pro Tools Ultimate. Pro Tools Ultimate is still Pro Tools Ultimate with the same feature set that people might be familiar with. It's still the Pro Tools version, which enables you to work with HDX and AT native DSP workflows, has full Atmos setup, full feature set of Pro Tools. Is that version to go for if you are in high-end post or serious music production? What is about this flexing? So Flex is basically not the software itself, that's still Pro Tools Ultimate, but it's a subscription offering and then a subscription bundle offering. That means from time to time, we will add a bit more value to this subscription bundle with third-party devices, additional software. There's this Inner Circle program with premium plugins we have. And right now we have an offer of SoundFlow. What is SoundFlow? SoundFlow is a very high capable external macro editor, so to say. So it's a third-party software that allows you to speed up tedious Pro Tools tasks, program macros, shortcut chains, and enables you to speed up your workflow immensely. So a prominent example is if you're working with the Isotope standalone editor, you can build an own macro set for sending audio files back and forth, which previously you have to do a very lot of many clicks for that. So and altogether, this is a very high capable solution to speed up your workflows, and I highly would recommend to check it in if you're not familiar with this. So we offer this is just an example to start with Pro Tools Flex. We offer this Avid SoundFlow edition with Pro Tools, and the first month you even get the first 3 months you even get a pro trial with SoundFlow. You can start to continue this, or if you're not continue this, you will keep the SoundFlow Avid edition, which still gives you access to many presets on the SoundFlow page. There are prominent people doing SoundFlow presets and pre-built macro setup like Andrew Scaps. So really a good offer. We will offer a bit more with Pro Tools Flex from time to time, but that's something for the future. What we have now also is Adobe Audio Production Suite special offer. So if you are into Atmos, this is a very compelling offer with $99 compared to, I guess it's about $280, something like this, but yeah, we'll give you $200 in advantage. And one other thing that's worth mentioning, speaking about Atmos, is that we expanded the native I/O of Pro Tools Ultimate. So if you're not working with DSP workflows, HDX, AT native, and Digilink devices, we expanded the native I/O to 256 channels compared to 64 channels before. So that's very interesting if you're into Atmos and want to use a third-party I/O, but want to have the full channel count with Atmos 128 channels, for instance. Right. Coming about to Pro Tools Studio. So Pro Tools Studio is the new standard version of Pro Tools. previously called just Pro Tools or Pro Tools Vanilla, you name it, there are many names for it. The most interesting thing is here, the price point basically hasn't changed. So we offer an annual subscription for 279 euros, but we added a lot of more valuable features from Pro Tools Ultimate. So most prominently, Atmos and surround workflows, the full setup. So everybody is looking nowadays into Atmos workflows, and with Pro Tools Studio, you can check into that with Pro Tools with a very, very interesting price point, about 280 euros. We also added advanced automation and clip effects from Pro Tools Ultimate, which you guys probably familiar with, or some of you guys with advanced automation. This is very useful in high-end post-production. We also doubled the audio track count from 256 to 512 audio tracks. But the main difference to Pro Tools Ultimate is still, it is a native version, except if you use it with Pro Tools Carbon. That will still allows you to do DSP workflows. But basically, Pro Tools Studio is working with native devices, Core Audio or ASIO. But as I said, you are able to do Atmos with this mid-tier version at a very interesting price point. And there's also the Dolby Audio Production Suite special offer at the moment with $99. So the lowest version is Pro Tools Artist, as I said, kind of the successor of Pro Tools First, but it's not a free offer anymore, but it has a lot of more value. So now we added 32 audio tracks in it, 32 instrument tracks, 64 MIDI tracks, and the Artist plugin bundle, which consists of plugins from the larger complete plugin bundle, not the full setup, but still has a 100 and plus plugins. It is native only and at a price point at 89 euros subscription. This is only subscription for the other two tiers. There are still some different offerings. I will come a bit later to that. What is worth mentioning with all of this new Pro Tools lineup, we invented two new software instruments. That's Synthcell and GrooveCell. This kind of takes up a name from previous Avid synths and Avid audio software instruments. And these two new virtual instruments are bundled with every Pro Tools version. But it's probably most interesting for beginners starting mixing or working music, doing music with Pro Tools. They have access also to these new plugins. And as I said, it's a very good entry solution, gives you everything to do, to record audio, to do music, to do beats, and mix on a still very high level. As I just mentioned, basically, these new three Pro Tools tiers are primarily subscription. That means if you are a new customer, you are bound to subscription. But on the same time, we brought back the reinstatements under a slightly different name, which is now Get Current. So if you can remember what was a reinstatement, so if you are a Pro Tools perpetual owner, but you have your actual plan lapsed, you're not decided to do a renewal and be on a current plan to be eligible for the actual version and have full support, you are now able to update your Pro Tools version with these Get Current plans, right? Then that goes back to still Pro Tools 9. So again, if you decided to keep your Pro Tools perpetual license, but you stepped out of plan, we now, alongside subscription, gave these users an opportunity to renew their license to Get Current, as it said, and take advantage of new features. And right now we have a promo with this, with Pro Tools Ultimate, 450 euros, and Pro Tools Studio at 220 euros, which is basically about 30% off. And that promo still goes to June 30th, so end of June. Speaking about only subscription offerings, that's not entirely true, because at the moment we still have perpetual license with our hardware bundles. So formerly there have been offerings with HDX and Carbon, which included a Pro Tools perpetual license. Also with the, maybe know it, the bundle of the Thunderbolt 3 chassis, HDX card, and Matrix Studio combined with a Pro Tools perpetual license. These bundles will stay for the moment, but not forever. We don't have enough time frame at the moment, but if you are interested to still get a perpetual license, hardware with, bundled with hardware, is probably now the time to look at it. Right, so this was my brief overview of the new Pro Tools lineup. As I said, it's very, very recommendable to check into Pro Tools Studio, because that will give you a lot more features than before at a really interesting price point compared to Ultimate. So if there are any questions, we maybe can cover this briefly here. Otherwise, please keep your questions to the end. So I will allow Dirk now to take his presentation.
V prípade, že nie sú nejaké otázky, otázky opäť do toho chatboxu alebo Q&A boxu, prešli by sme priamo na prezentáciu Dirka Weinreicha Media Composer. Vidím, že v Q&A ani v chatboxe nie je nič. Thank you, Roman. Thank you for your presentation, and we are looking forward for Dirk.
Okay, so I share my screen. And I hope you can see my screen right now.
Oh, good.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I stopped video regarding bandwidth. So I like to save some bandwidth, and yeah, what I like to cover in my presentation is Media Composer, but as well Edit On Demand. This is Media Composer in the cloud, and Avid Nexis, which allows remote collaboration. Overall, the topic is remote collaboration. But I start now with Media Composer. So when we look back in 2020, we had 5 different versions, lots of cool new features. I like to point out the Universal Media Engine. So we did a lot under the hood of Media Composer. It was a replacement for the reliance on QuickType libraries, the latest technology in linking, import, and exporting media. So overall, the Media Composer become much faster with this new Universal Media Engine. This was in version 2020.4. Then we have had 2021 with 3 new versions. I like to point out here the IMF workflow, which is requested by Apple Plus or Prime Video. These IMF packages have an original and supplemental package. The supplemental package, for example, for different sounds or subtitles. So this is a really, a complete solution to support this needs of streaming companies. This was as well implemented, as you can see here in 21.3. And then we have, of course, 2022. And the big thing here is, before I start my little presentation, is SRT. So you can use SRT streams for multiple streams to any kind of device. For example, when you have a decoder at home, or you can watch your timeline, the output of your timeline on any kind of device, for example, as well on a mobile device, on an iPad, for example, but that works as well with the VLC player, what I show you in a minute. So let's jump to Media Composer. So we have here a typical Media Composer project with 8 video tracks, 18 audio tracks. As you can see, Media Composer becomes very colorful, and this is a German movie trailer with subtitles. And as you can see, we have here our panels for editing, color correction, effects, or audio. Pretty nice is you can color every single clip, but as well the bins You see here as well a color code in the audio mixer. So when I hit play, I see directly here what's played, what audio track is played, and all that stuff. So this is already pretty cool in my opinion. You can unlock panels. So when I take here the audio mixer, you see a blank panel. So you will never ever destroy your interface by using these blank panels, especially when you use dual screen setup, for example. You can easily bring it back here, and oops, I have to move this. And the same for the bins. So when I go back here to editing and open, for example, this media file bin, you can take it out here, you can scale it, and here you see that we have a new grid locking. So when I move here my clips, you see a grid, and you can snap on that grid. So you have a perfect way, you know, to organize your media in the new Media Composer by using these features. You see as well here, you can colorize your timeline, you can colorize your viewer, and I like to mention, here, sorry, restore. I like to mention here as well our phrase find function when I use Control F and search for a special word. This is a movie trailer from Mavi Film in Berlin. It's about policemen. When I type in, for example, Polizei, you can see I can use phrase find, and the system, the Media Composer, will find all the clips which contains the word police, for example. So when I double click, you can hear the word police by using phrase find. But the Media Composer is SRT new. So when you right click here, beside NDI, we support SRT streams. So you can configure your SRT streams. One device is a listener. In this case, the Media Composer. The other one is the caller. And when I open here my VLC player, let's apply first. Then I can go here to stream, to network, and I stream this now over the network on a VLC player. But this could be as well a mobile device, an iPhone or an iPad. Yeah, but as well, when you have a decoder, it can be as well a TV screen. So this is something new in Media Composer 2022.4. Okay, let's go ahead. So I close my Media Composer here, and now I like to show you Edit On Demand. So I jump back to my PowerPoint. Edit On Demand is a complete virtual production environment. It's a SaaS subscription model. SaaS stands for software as a service. We have simply a weekly or monthly pricing, and with one service code, you can get 30 seats, 30 Media Composer for 60 users with 200 terabytes of Nexis cloud storage. These are the key components. Yeah, as I said, weekly or monthly pricing, 30 Media Composers with 60 users. Every user gets 40 hours weekly, so it's a pool of hours. So when you go, for example, for 2 Media Composer, you would get weekly, two Media Composers weekly, you would get 80 hours per week, or monthly 174 hours per month per Media Composer. So why? Keep in mind, it's not like a big Bitcoin, yeah. So we want, these are high performance virtual machines. We don't want them run 24/7. For this reason, we want the customers to shut down the system. And it's a pool of hours. So when you have 2 Media Composers, you have 80 hours per week. So one user can use the system, let's say 60 hours, and the other one 20 hours. But when you are above this hours, we wouldn't charge you. Yeah? So that's I think, an important point, but we want, of course, that the customers shut down the system. We use here Nexis Cloud storage, 1 to 200 terabytes. File upload will handled by a software called File Catalyst. Upload is always free, so we never charge for an upload, but download, yeah, we have 1 terabyte free download, but there are workflows where you always below 1 terabyte. Support is included and no overhead charges, means when you're above that, that's okay. But keep in mind, it's always important to shut down the system. So I show you now here my TerraDigi client. So I have here a PCOIP client, and this is how I can connect to a system. So I click on Edit On Demand, type in my password, I log in, and then you see here the media composers. So in my case, I have here 6 media composers, standard and advanced seats. So I select the first one, connect to the system, and now I start a media composer in a cloud which is based in Amsterdam. This will take some time. So I go now back to my PowerPoint, to the next slide, and here you see a possible workflow. So imagine, you know, you have a mobile lab, you ingest your media. Of course, you can transcode your media before you upload the content, or you upload the high-res content. The next step is you have here your remote editor. So this guy can be in Bratislava, for example. Another guy could be in Munich or in Berlin or in Paris, London, and they can access now the media after uploading the content and can start edit. So when the project is done, you can download the final project and bins to do the conforming on-prem in a post-production facility. And in this case, you would be always below 1 terabyte. So it's a pretty cool way, you know, to collaborate with freelancers, for example, to save travel costs, hotel costs, and all that stuff. And it's a very flexible way to work on a project, or with many people. At least, you know, you finish the program and you deliver the final result. Important is you have 2 different seat types. One is in a standard seat with 6-core machine. The other one is an advanced seat with 12-core machines. So we say the standard is for basic editing when you work with Linux HD or Linux HR, or the advanced seat for when you like to work with plugins. You can ask us as well to install, for example, the Boris plugins or the Sapphire plugins at the system. You have to provide the license file, but we would install it at an Edit On Demand system for your usage. You can choose between 2 media composer. One is 2021.2 and the other one is 2018.12. And let's check if the system already is there. No. And important is you don't need much bandwidth. Yeah, for basic editing is 10 to 20 Mbit enough. Of course, it depends if you use a single screen setup, a dual screen setup. So for dual screen setup, you need 40 Mbit, and for full screen playback, 85 Mbit. Important is you don't need a powerful machine. Yeah, supported clients is Mac OS or Windows, but as well Zero clients. So that's I think an important point. So the your local machine doesn't matter when you work with Edit On Demand. As you can see, we work here in the data center in Amsterdam. So in Europe, we have 2. One is based in London, the other one is in Amsterdam, and I'm connected from Berlin here to the Amsterdam system. Let's have a look. Here it is. So this is here my system in Amsterdam. So when I go here over that icon, you see it's Amsterdam. And here I find my Media Composer. So I can start my Media Composer now in the cloud. And you find here as well the Nexis Client Manager. So when you are familiar with Nexis, you can see, in my case now, 2 workspaces I can work with. Media Composer is starting. And of course, you have as well this Nexis dashboard. I'll show you this here in a minute. Oh, sorry. Let's wait. Let's wait for the Nexis Client Manager. Oh, let's go. And when you're again, as when you're familiar with Nexis, you can go here to your dashboard and to configure the system. Oh, moment, it's all live. It takes some time. Voila. This is your Nexis dashboard. So you find here your workspaces with users. Of course, you can scale workspaces and you can define here as well your user with read-write permissions. How to get an edit on demand system. So when I go back here to my web browser, you see here my Avid.com account, where you see my products. For example, here the Avid Edit On Demand portal. So when I click at this link, you see the way to configure the system. Moment. So when I click on edit, for example, you see here all the users. So you can easily add users. You have here the possibility to reset the system, or you see here all the components you need to get access to an Edit On Demand system. For example, here the remote desktop client installer, and very important, of course, the remote desktop host address. So you don't need a VPN connection to your cloud system. That's all managed by the Teradigi client. So it's pretty easy to set up the system. And again, also with 30 users, 30 media composers, with one code, you can get 30 media composers for 60 users, for example. You see here, by the way, the file catalyst software, where you see on the left-hand side my laptop, on the right-hand side the Nexis, the workspaces on the Nexis, on the cloud Nexis. So I can browse now to a file, for example, here to video media, some drone shots. You can multi-select them and you can upload them to a workspace on your cloud Nexis. So first of all, you have to select a workspace, then you make a multi-selection, and you can upload the content directly to the Edit On Demand system. Now you see here the Media Composer. I'd like to show you, of course, the performance. So I have here a project in the cloud, which is a resolution independent project. It's 6,820 by 1080 pixels. And I have here a 100 Mbit connection, and you can see I can play this super smooth. So when I go into my single monitor, First of all, I'd like to show you the resolution. I go to settings. This is 6816 by 1080. And as you can see, I can play it back. And here at my side, it's super smooth without dropping frames. And this is how you could work with many people and bin logging at the same project, which is very, very nice. So yeah, of course, works as well with audio. Another example is maybe this here. So when we go here to that one, you see here a short sequence with 8 clips. And it plays super smooth. I hope you can see this. It's very pretty. All right, so let's iconize this. Let's go back. You see here now again the file catalyst. So I take these files and upload them, for example, in the upload folder. You click upload. You can make as well hot folders for content. So when you drag and drop clips into that hot folder, they would be automatically uploaded to the cloud system. So this is a new way to work collaborative with many people in the cloud. Instead of renting hardware, you can do a whole production now in the cloud, which is pretty nice. Okay, what else? Yeah, important is of course, you can configure your subscription. So you can start with a couple of users with maybe less terabyte of cloud storage, and in the middle of the production, you can add users, you can add as well cloud storage at the end of the production. You could reduce as well the amount of users or cloud storage. So this is a nice example that you have here really a flexible way also to work with the cloud system, and that could be fit perfectly to your production needs. All right, so Nexis Edge, completely different story. So for Nexis Edge, I have here, first of all, a video. So I show you a short clip. This is 3 minutes, and then I go ahead and show you this as well live.
For over 3 decades, filmmakers, TV productions, all kinds of content creators have used Avid tools and workflows to collaborate. The workflows were shaped by the tools themselves and by the intrinsic human need to collaborate, work together, and divide the effort amongst teammates. But then about 10 years ago, filmmakers and TV productions had a new ask. Was there a way for the workflow that they knew and were familiar with to extend beyond the boundaries of traditional brick-and-mortar post-production? Introducing Avid Nexis Edge. The need to collaborate and the need to work from anywhere isn't new, but the global pandemic made this need that much more dire and that much more urgent. To accomplish this, we start with our core competency in post-production. Shared storage in the form of a facility-based Avid Nexis, editing tools in the form of Avid Media Composer, and Avid shared bins, projects, and media. To enable a work-from-anywhere solution, we're adding a new proxy format. The proxy format is a sibling media format joined at the hip to every media file you have on your Nexis shared storage. Every clip in your Avid project will now have 2 media formats associated, a high-resolution format and the new Nexis Edge proxy. The high-resolution format is anything greater than the proxy. DNX36 could be the high-res, for example. Avid Nexis Edge is a new solution that ties together all the post-production focused tools from Avid. Avid Nexis shared storage, new versions of Media Composer and Media Composer distributed processing, and a new Nexis client, all of which are integrated directly into Nexis Edge. The objective is work from anywhere, and to bring with you the workflows and tool sets that productions have relied on for decades.
Matt Schneider. He's the product owner of Nexis Edge. And so what is it? Nexis Edge is an Avid solution for post-production workflows, especially when you work or collaborate, when you like to work from home, of course, important is, that, there's no special version needed. So you can use Nexis Edge with a Media Composer Enterprise. This is important that you have the Media Composer Enterprise, not the ultimate version, because you work with a new proxy format. It integrates as well with Adobe Premiere Pro. You cannot generate proxies with Adobe Premiere Pro, but you can use the web client inside Adobe Premiere Pro to browse, for example, media files which are at your Nexis storage on-prem. You have a couple of key components. As I said, new is the proxy format. So when I go to my web browser, you see here some technical details about the proxy. It's a video codec is H.264. It's a 8-bit codec, and the bit rate is only 3 megabytes. So it's a pretty small codec. You can use here. There's a new Nexis client manager, which is optimized for remote workflows. I show you this in a minute. So with this Nexis client manager, you can access Avid bins remotely. So I'm based in Berlin. I will show you a Media Composer, which is based in Munich. So I can use with the Nexis Client Manager, I can mount all the workspaces which are in Munich here from Berlin, which is of course pretty cool. We have in the back we have distributed processing, so you can use multiple media composers to create proxies, but as well to render, like a render farm, your content in the background. This web client connector is a Chrome browser, which allows me, for example, as a producer or assistant editor, to watch content, to add metadata, to see as well the status of a production, for example. I'll show you this as well in a minute. You have these editing connectors. That means you can integrate this web client connectors in Media Composer or in Adobe Premiere Pro. There's an air gap workflow, which allows you to download media or bins to your remote Media Composer. When you have an air gap workflow, that means when you have no internet connection, when you're in a train or in a plane, you can download proxies and bins to go ahead with your production, and you have at least the Edge file server, which allows you to connect 75 remote systems or 25 web clients to the Edge server. This is what I like to show you. This is on-premise. This is in Munich, where we have a Media Composer connected to an Avid Nexis storage. You see here the Nexis Edge server on top, and this allows me to connect now as a remote editor by a VPN connection to the system to work with the proxies. Or you're a producer and you use the web client, in this case, must be a Chrome browser as well via VPN to the Nexis storage to watch the files, to browse the files, or to add metadata or create sequences, for example, on the on-prem system. As I said, the proxies are beside the high-res files generated by distributed processing. Of course, you can use as well a Media Composer Enterprise to generate these proxies, and the remote editor would work then with the proxies. I'll show you this in a minute. The web client doesn't need the proxies. That's important. web client. You can generate proxies by the web client, by the way, but the web client don't need proxies to view this content. So at this point, I first of all, I close my Edit On Demand system. As I said, I shut it down. Voila. Media Composer was open. I don't care. System here in Amsterdam is shutting down. And then I open first of all my OpenVPN. And then I connect. Voila. Done. And now I use here the Media Composer in Munich. Yeah, sorry. Voila. Okay, loading. Voila. So this is Munich. And in Munich, we have here a project. So I access the project. And as you can see, we have here a little timeline. And this, what you see here is currently the high-res material. So when I go here in single monitor view, you see here a new button. So when I right click, I can play back the high-res material, or I can play back proxy, so proxy preferred. So when I click on proxy preferred, you see I have a new color code here. So this is an indicator that I play here high-res and here proxy. The remote editor couldn't play the high-res material. This is important. So we have to make proxies here for these clips for the usage for the remote editor. So I'm playing currently proxies or high-res resolution only or high-res preferred. Then I would play now high-res. As you can see, there is no relinking like in the older versions. So this is really a single click to jump from high-res resolution to proxy resolution. So how we can generate, how we can make these proxies. So we have here a folder which I open up, and you see here icons, and you see here the master clips, and some of them have an orange color. And that means we have here already proxies, we generated here already proxies for these clips. So when I multi-select these ones, I right-click, and you see here that I can create by a Media Composer Enterprise proxies here for this bin, for these clips. I can use here distributed processing as well to generate proxies. So when I hit OK, you see here now my integrated web client and here the proxy generation of these files, which is really nice. When we go back to the timeline, you see that we have the possibility now to use as the story is now you have here 3 parts. So this is the first part where you see the ruin of a power plant. Then you have here the second part, you know, with this bucket wheel excavator. And the last part is here missing. So I jump now in a new role, the role of a producer to finalize the whole project with this last part. So what I do, by the way, the proxies are here all generated. In the meantime, voila, as you can see, by distributed processing. So I jump now in the role of a producer. So now I'm back in Berlin. So I iconize here my PC over IP client and go into a web browser. And here I have the possibility now to open or to connect to the Munich system. my web client. You see here the Avid projects and the Lignite project in Munich. I showed you before, so I can open this. You see here as well bin logging. So when I go in the sub mode here, you see here these bins are open in Munich and these are closed. So I have read write permissions here. In this bins here, I have only read permissions. So I can read only the content. I can watch the content, but I cannot play it. I cannot save something into the project. So what I do next is I use here my web client to generate a bin. So I right click, I create a bin by a web client on the Media Composer, and I call this approved. Because I'm a producer, so when I refresh, you see the new bin here. Then I open this browser twice to drag and drop some content into the approved bin. So we have here some other linked media, which I can watch. So I can make a multi-selection, of course, of the clips. Let's take this one as well, drag and drop it into the Media Composer project. Of course, you can play the clips as well. So when I double click, you see here my little viewer, which allows me to play the content. And pretty cool is you have here as well phonetic search. You have here metadata. Yeah, you can add as well metadata, or you have here the possibility to add locators as well to every single clip. To generate a sequence, I multi-select them. I right click, I create a sequence. I have a vertical alignment. I call this somehow the sequence, submit the sequence, and can go here and see the sequence as well as a time as a timeline to make some changes in the order, for example. So let's take the last one at the beginning here. So here we can trim a little bit the clips. Of course, we can play the clips, as you can see, and we can add as well locators to the content. So here you see I play the clips right now. Wonderful. And then I add here at the end, for example, a locator. Use this, please. Okay. Then I save my sequence. And now I have access by a remote editor to the project in Munich, and I can finalize now the whole project. But before, I have to generate here as well proxies. So I can do this as well by using the web client, create proxies. Now the proxies will be generated, and the remote editor can pick up these clips and can edit at the end of this production by using a Media Composer from home, for example. Beside the browse function, we have as well a search function. So I can search for metadata, for name, I can phonetic search, I can search for markers, segments, or as well for creation date. So when I use, for example, search for creation date, should be the clips last 10 minutes. You see here the 4 clips I drag and drop into the generated bin generated by the web client. And you see here as well the sequence I generated a couple of minutes ago. So it's a very, very cool tool to check the status of the production remotely, or to work together with an editor as a producer or assistant editor. So at this point, I close Nexis Edge and back my Media Composer. And now this is still in Munich. So now I go and open here my Nexis Edge Client Manager. on my local laptop. And here you see already the workspaces in Munich. Of course, you can browse as well. Here, the workspaces, by the way. And when I start Media Composer, is it already open? Yeah, I can connect now with my Media Composer here at my laptop to the system in Munich. New is here, when you look at the web client, it's now connected to the remote Nexis, where you see here as well the latency. Okay, so let's wait for Media Composer. So, most important is now when you see here all your projects, this part, because I can see here that I'm connected now to the remote Nexus, and the only thing you have to do is you click here and you choose, of course, the project in Munich. Then it will take a while, some seconds, and here you see now this Lignite project. Voila. So when I double click, you can see now that I'm connected to from Berlin to the system in Munich, and I can finalize the sequence I showed you. So first of all, I go to sequence in work. Then we have here the review. And here you see now my timeline I showed you before. And I can play back the timeline here in Berlin, which is based, which is living here in Munich. And you see timer response is perfect. Keep in mind, we work with proxies. So when I click here, when I choose a high-res resolution only, I would get this message that the high-res resolution is here at my local laptop, of course, not available. Important is, you see here the approved bin. So when I double click the approved bin, you see here the transcoded clips. I transcoded, not transcoded, yeah, this proxy media, yeah. And you see here as well the sequence, which has a different timeline frame rate, as well here as a proxy timeline I generated. Yeah, again, so you can easily go now and finalize your project by using this new approved, what was it here? This new sequence, which I drag and drop, which I drag and drop at my timeline. For example, here. Come on. It has a different frame rate anyway. Yeah. So anyway, this is what I wanted to show. Yeah, also you have easily the possibility to mix your content from the on-prem system with the remote system in one go. Yeah, I think this was my little presentation. This is Nexis Edge. Again, here you need, for the remote editor, you need the Media Composer Enterprise 2022.4. You need the VPN connection. You have the possibility to use a web client as well with the VPN connection with the Chrome browser. And you can easily generate proxies by distributed processing, for example, which are then both located on your Nexis storage to get access by the remote editor, for example. Here again, a slide, my last slide, differentiation between Media Composer Ultimate and Media Composer Enterprise subscription. As you can see, the proxy workflow is here included. So when you have Media Composer Ultimate, Ultimate is not possible, is not able to play proxies. You have here as well the Nexis Edge support included, of course, distributed processing, and as well the phrase find scripting or Symfony option. That's all included. So when you go for Media Composer, when you go for Nexis Edge, you need a cross-grade then to a Media Composer Enterprise, and this allows you to make this workflow I showed you before. All right, I think I'm done.
Thank you, Dirk. Thank you for your presentation. So we have some questions here. The question is regarding support of Mac M1 and M1 Max for the Media Composer. The question is related to native support, not via Rosetta 2. Is there any plan?
Of course. Also M1 is, we had some issues at the beginning, but I think they're already solved. So there is no question that we don't support Mac OS with Media Composer.
Yeah, but the roadmap or date, there is not set, yeah?
It's not set, but pretty soon. Also, we have regarding the war in Ukraine, of course, some issues with our development. So we have 200 developers in Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's currently a little bit tricky for them, of course, to go ahead with development. For this reason, we had some delays in software updates as well with Nexis Edge, because we announced it already, I think, in spring, and Nexis Edge will be as well very soon available.
Okay, thank you. Nejaké ďalšie otázky? To bola otázka smerujúca k procesorom M1 a M1 Max od Apple. Podpora momentálne cez Rosetu 2, ale do budúcna sa plánuje aj natívna podpora. Zatiaľ dátum nie je určený. V prípade, že má niekto ďalšie otázky, kľudne napíšte do toho chatu. Ak už ďalšie otázky nie sú, tak ja len zhrniem, čo sme si dneska ukázali. Bavili sme sa o Pro Toolse, o subscription modeli, kde sú v podstate 3 balíky. Je to balík Pro Tools Flex, čo je ten najvyšší, hlavne teda kvázi náhrada Ultimate s pridanými hodnotami. Potom Pro Tools Studio, čo je taký ten stredná úroveň, a Pro Tools Artist, ktorý je náhradou Pro Toolsu First, s tým, že sú tam rozšírené počty stôp, processing a pluginy. Pre tých, ktorí nehodlajú prejsť na subscription model, je tu akcia reinstatementu promo do konca júna. Za výhodných podmienok si dokážu predĺžiť support aj na systéme, ktoré predtým pod supportom neboli. Čiže poprosím kontaktovať mojich kolegov z českého Traca alebo slovenského v prípade, že máte záujem, alebo prostredníctvom našeho webshopu. Ďalej sme si hovorili o novinkách v Media Composeroch, kde v priebehu rokov boli požiadavky na vzdialenú prácu a pre streamingové služby, čiže bol tam pridaný nejaký EMEA workflow na alternatívne zvuky a subtitle. Bolo to vlastne na požiadavku streamingových platform a v tomto roku pribudol SRT stream pre vzdialenú kontrolu obsahu pre prehrávanie. V prípade, že režisér, povedzme, je vzdialený x kilometrov, tak cez internetové prepojenie si vie odkontrolovať cez SRT stream, či už vo VLC prehrávače na mobilnom zariadení, tablete, počítači alebo aj televízory, ktoré podporujú prehrávanie SRT streamov v vernej farebnej, vo verných farbách a framerate ten výsledný obrázok vedia ho na diaľku nejakým spôsobom komentovať. Ďalšie, čo sme si ukázali, bol teda Edit On Demand. V podstate je to riešenie, cloudové riešenie pre tých, ktorým je príjemnejší digitálny rental ako fyzický rental. Menšie produkcie, ktoré máte viazané na určité časové pásmo, napríklad na 2 mesiace produkcia pre nejakú reklamu alebo nejakú krátku reláciu, pri ktorú si zväčša užívateľia požičiavajú Nexis a strižne, ktoré im musia prísť, ste viazaní na lokalitu a tak ďalej. Toto je vlastne nejaká alternatíva, kde si tie strižne a diskové pole viete zapožičať digitálne, pripojením sa na Edit On Demand portál, vytvorenie si svojho konta a maximálne 30 editorov, 60 klientov. Samozrejme je to časovo obmedzené podľa toho, aký čas si nastavíte. Je to po týždňoch alebo mesiacoch, čiže je to v podstate taký spôsob rentalu bez nutnosti prevážania hardveru. Tá inštalácia sa deje na pozadí. V rámci Európy sú 2 dátové centra, jeden v Amsterdame, jeden v Anglicku. Ďalšie, čo sme si prešli, bol Pilot Edge, kde v podstate tie požiadavky priniesla pandémia, sú to požiadavky na vzdialenú prácu. Pilot Edge je Nexis Edge je nadstavba diskového pola, fyzického diskového pola Nexis. Príklady použitia máte postprodukciu, kde máte fyzický pole Nexis, ale potrebujete na ňom strihať vzdialenia. Váš Nexis je v Prahe, vy máte strihača v Brne a chcete, aby pracoval na vašom Nexise, ale neprišiel do tej Prahy a tým pádom sa do VPN-kou pripojí do Prahy, vy mu vygenerujete low-res materiál a on ho vie strihať priamo na svojom Media Composere nainštalovanom či už na desktope alebo na notebooku. A po prípade produkcia sa dokáže pripojiť k Nexisu prostredníctvom Chrome rozhrania a vytvoriť či už nejaký draft edit alebo výberku a podobne. Čiže toto sú všetky veci, ktoré sme si prešli. To nejakú otázku Remote Nexis Client Support only for OpenVPN. Nie, to je v zásade jedno. Vy sa potrebujete dostať na tú lokalitu, kde je nainštalovaný Nexis server. Čiže nie je nevyhnutné mať OpenVPN, akékoľvek VPN pripojenie. Ak si trúfate, môžete ísť aj bez VPN pripojenia a vystrčiť sa cez port. V podstate sa potrebujete cez internet dostať do tej vašej lokality. VPN je samozrejme bezpečné, či to bude OpenVPN, alebo Cisco VPN, alebo EMEA Connect, alebo akékoľvek VPN spojenie. V prípade, že nie sú ďalšie otázky, chcel by som vám veľmi pekne poďakovať za pomerne vysokú účasť na tomto webinári. Tento webinár je nahrávaný, čiže bude zverejnený prostredníctvom našich tradičných kanálov, či už sociálnych sietí alebo web stránky. Takisto vám príde link na nahrávku tohto webináru do mailu. Ďakujem veľmi pekne prezentátorom. Thank you all presenters. Thank you Dirk. Thank you Roman. Ďakujem za vašu pozornosť a vidíme sa na budúce, či už prostredníctvom internetu alebo fyzicky. Ďakujem veľmi pekne.